everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all doing well. So this is Heart to Heart, where we discuss all sorts of topics, but mainly to do with health and well-being. As we can see, we have some beautiful faces here. My name is Harriet, this is Beatrice, my twin, her husband Richard, and my husband Ben. So today's topic we're going to be discussing is a topic of emotional intelligence. So I'll give us a quick definition before we go ahead and discuss it, okay? So the definition of emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use and manage your own emotions in a positive way, and to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, and overcome challenges as well as diffuse conflict. So there's quite a lot in that definition, and one thing that I've come to know is that emotional regulation is such a big deal when it comes to being able to relate with others and being able to like get along with everyone in your life, literally. So I thought this would be like an interesting topic to discuss and to get, you know, everyone's opinions on, and obviously us being, you know, in relationships, being able to give our input as well. Okay, so anyone want to say anything before I continue on talking? You guys have any comments, anything you want to say before we go into the questions?
Like about emotional intelligence.
Just in general, your thoughts.
It's a very spiral path, I guess, like not knowing how to manage. I'm just speaking from a male perspective, but yeah, we as male tend to deal with emotions differently, and I think because the opposite gender don't understand how we deal with it, it becomes a problem or conflict, or because each gender don't know the other gender's way of processing emotions. So it becomes a problem when we don't understand the assignment.
And facts. Yeah, I also think that a lot of us like are not really emotionally intelligent. Okay. And we literally don't even understand our own emotions sometimes. And I think you really have to do a lot of digging and like introspection. So just really being aware of what's going on for you before you can actually get onto that path of like being emotionally smart, because I think that's pretty much what it means in like simple terms. Knowing how to like manage and use your emotions. Because it's such a big part of like relating with others, isn't it? It's massive. Ben, do you have anything you want to say?
All I can say is basically communication is a big part about it. So instead of actually understanding where the person's coming from, you tend to respond from how you're feeling, not actually understanding where the person is coming from. So sometimes communication, actually thinking about things before speaking, plays a big part.
Alright, so I'll move on straight to the questions. So, okay, how would each of you guys usually like express your emotions, just in general? Anyone can go first.
Be honest now.
Okay, I think for me, for the longest time, I was like very outwardly expressive. So just like whatever I was feeling, if you piss me off, you're gonna get it. Like it is what it is, you know. If I'm angry, don't come around me because you're gonna get it. Like, and I think it's just like something that I probably learned like growing up, whereby you just express whatever you're feeling. And I think for the longest time, I didn't really like think how that would affect other people, kind of just like pouring out emotion anyhow, and everyone would be like, why are you always like so angry, why are you so mad all the time? And I'm like, well, you piss me off, so you're gonna you're gonna get the other end of it. So but I do think that because also we grew up in a household where that was how it was. Like our dad did the same, mom did the same, everyone expressed their emotions however they felt. So it was like, well, this is what we know. So outwardly, so it was just like, I think it was just like conditioning from a young age, and then it just kind of came all out. But then I think I came to realize that when it comes to interaction with other people, especially like in intimate relationships, you can't just be overdoing it all the time, because like if you're mad and you're just doing too much, first of all, like when it comes to male species is like they just don't receive like your emotion like that. So it's like you can be doing the most, yelling, doing the most out here, and then they'll just be like, okay, and like they're not even gonna take really anything out of it, because I think first of all it's like they don't really know what to do with all that. It's like, what do we do with all that emotion? oh yeah, okay, like pat on the back, sorry about it or whatever. But it's like, I feel like after a while I learned that people don't really respond well to that. And not only that, I think like thinking about how that person might be affected by whether it's like my anger or annoyance or just like, you know, not really being in a good state, just pouring all that out on a person. And it's like, first of all, that's not really very nice on the other person. It's like, it's all fair that you know you might be going through things, but it's like knowing how to manage that and knowing how to deliver it in a way that the person can receive it is like really important. Because really at the end of the day, you know, whether you pour it out, no one's really going to meet the need. Because I think a lot of the times whenever we express something, it's because we actually have an unmet need, something that we're trying to communicate to the person, but it's like they're not going to get it through just you pouring out emotion. You actually have to be able to talk about what's actually going on behind all that emotion. So I think that's what I've learned. And how do you express your emotions, Ben?
Well, as my darling girl here will know, I'm not good at expressing my emotion, alright? I'll kind of tend to run away with it.
Avoid.
You know, not really avoid, like, I got better now if you think about it. Like, I'm a person that if you make me angry, I'll rather move from the situation and think about things before I talk to you. Because if I talk to you right there, all my emotion, everything that I'm feeling, I'm not going to put it into the right way to give it to you. And then the bad thing is sometimes I tend to go and I stay there for too long. And I'm like,
you don't come back, doesn't come back.
There's no point.
About it.
Nah, not forget about it. Like, you know, for men, the way that I see it is like, you know, when I think about it, if I come and talk to you about the situation, it's going to become another fight again. So I'd rather hold in that emotion and go away with it, and then there's no fight. We don't have to talk about anything. So
that doesn't fix the situation.
I know, but now it's way in type of thing. Do I want to fight about a situation, or do I just want to forget about it and chill? That's how I used to be, type of thing. But now, with Harriet's help, I don't stay there forever now, and I don't leave it there. When I'm ready, I actually come and we talk about it now. And sometimes it's a fight, even though I don't want to. But now I'm actually, you know, I come out and we talk about it. So
And Richard?
I know that I am an optimist, so I tend to think everything should be always okay, and there should be no fight in the world, no anything like that. So when emotions of anger and situation arise, I tend to, hey, this have happened, yes. Well, life is too short to be too angry all the time. You know, so I'm very quick to get over things, and sometimes that may come across as I don't care, but I just don't have the time to be angry. So that's my nature. I'm an optimist.
It's funny because I'm also similar. So kind of like, I feel like I could relate to some of the things that Richard was saying in regards to the fact that I think that I want to fix things. I don't want to drag things on. I want to like sort it out now, so I don't have to worry about it. So that's for me. That's always my intention, right? But when it comes to like how I express my emotions, that's a different story.
That's sorry that you got
So I wouldn't say I'm exactly like Beatrice. I think I'm a more passive version of Beatrice. Passive aggressive. I won't give it to you right there and then. I'll leave it and then we'll come back to it later. That's how I am. So I would say that I am like I'm a bit more passive aggressive. But if you know, depending on the situation, sometimes I just can't hold it in and I'll just say what I need to say and it just comes out. And like obviously I end up leaving people hurt because it's like you don't have to be rude like that. But I didn't mean it, like I wasn't trying to hurt them. I was just trying to really express it and really say what I feel. So you can understand what I'm feeling, like kind of like what Beatrice was saying. And like obviously like all of us have said, all of the ways we express our emotions are all very different, but they all leave people feeling a certain way. And how we express them obviously impact the way people also, you know, relate to us, how they feel at the end of it. Next question we're gonna move on to is, what do you guys think like a misconception is, or like basically an incorrect view or way of thinking is about how we express our emotions? I think Richard touched on it a little bit earlier on, but what do you guys think like a misconception is when it comes to how we express our emotions, especially with like males and females?
Well, like I said before, male perceive things differently and female perceive things differently. So when it comes to emotions, like what Ben said, we are fixers. So we tend to, when a situation arises, we tend to walk away or go into our little cave and all that, and to solve, like just to see, okay, what can I do here? What can I do here to rectify the situation? So when we do come to talk, we actually have a solution, but because we have not gone through that process with our spouse, we start all over again with them now from the beginning again. So like, well, I came here to talk about a solution, not to fight all over again. So it's quite difficult because women think, or people think, men are not emotional. You know what I mean? But we are very emotional. You know, very, very sensitive in our own way. You know, and it takes a lot of understanding to understand us. You know what I mean? We do cry. We do all these things, but it's within ourselves. It's within that cave. We do it. You know, so when we do come out, we've done all of that. We just want to move on now.
The thing is, that doesn't make sense because how are you going to do that by yourself?
Because that's men.
Because they think that they have to fix it on their own. Like, men not helping sometimes either. But it's like you're doing it on your own when it's not really just about you.
It's just, you know how he said female and male understand things differently. In that shelf, basically, we put ourselves in a woman's shoe in a way like, oh, if I was to tell her like this, how would she feel? Or if I was to do this, how would she feel? We think about all of that and then we have a solution. But if we do that with you and we talk, straight away you're coming back, bouncing forward and backward.
Because it's with emotion. We don't, for example, if if we're coming with one problem, just one single problem, and then we say, okay, we're going to talk about this one single problem because we've already boxed that. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to talk about. Then we come, and then last week you didn't do this. Next, a couple months ago, and then it's like, what? And we're like, this is not what I came here to do. And then we have to go back to process what you've just given us again, and then it's a long process.
That's interesting.
For me, it's kind of what you touched on at the end, the fact that people or the whole society think men are not emotional. And every human being is emotional. But it doesn't show as much for men. For me, it comes from the area of when we bring out our emotion, ladies don't take it well. You know, if a woman comes to you today angry, a man will pet her and hold her and make her feel good.
Like a baby.
Like a baby type of thing. But if a man comes and shows his emotion to you, you either think he's weak or you think what the hell's going on here, or you don't know how to deal with it. You know? You're like, oh, not every woman, but most women, they're like, oh, this is a woman's thing. But I think that's why men don't show it that much. But the fact that men are not emotional I think it's not real. So that's kind of the misconception.
Isn't it so crazy because one of apparently like the suicide rates for men is so high like as of late, and it's because one of the reasons is because like they kind of can't really or don't really express their emotions or express how they feel about things because they feel like Ben was saying, it's such a woman thing to do, or you feel weak and you don't really want to express it because you don't want to look like you're not a man, but at the end of the day, God still gave you emotions, but what were you gonna say, Bishop? I think pretty much what everyone else said as well, because it's like the common phrase is men don't cry, or like women are like outwardly emotional or too emotional. But at the end of the day, we all have emotions, and we just have to try and figure out a way of actually like expressing them and managing them in the best way possible. Because I feel like it's actually quite sad what you just said about like the suicide rates, because it's true. But the thing is like Ben said, men do have emotions and they have to try and find a way to express it. But the hard thing is like sometimes there is like that safe space for them to be able to talk about things. But I think what I find difficult, especially like being married to a man.
What are you meant to be married to?
Anyways,
A tree?
well, or knowing like how, or having just like a little bit of a perspective of how men deal with their emotions, is that it's like we are here, and even though you know that we're here and we're a safe space to be able to talk through things, I feel like, I don't know if it's like society or just like your own ideas that you've taken on for yourself. Even though you know that the relationship is safe, I feel like sometimes men still feel like they can't outwardly share. And I know that it's because of all the conceptions of, oh, I don't want to look weak, I don't want to look like I don't have my stuff together. But it's like, that's not the point. You want to be struggling by yourself there to the point where you get yourself in like a tough situation when the whole time like you either have family or at least friends. So I think it's really important that like men, especially men, like they don't subscribe to these misconceptions and actually just find somewhere safe that they can talk about these things, whether it's like counseling or a friend or like their wives or whoever it is that they trust. It doesn't have to be your wife, because I know that, you know, men, they find it uncomfortable. I feel like you guys find it uncomfortable to talk about like sensitive or mushy things, because I know that apparently men, when they like express stuff, usually they like have to be doing things like either when they're walking.
That's my point I was gonna make.
Or playing football or
the
doing
barber, because apparently the barber is where you guys do all your
counseling.
In their comfort zone.
If you want the best out of a man, or like you want him to talk to you, don't approach him in the way you approach your girlfriends. Because I think most of the time it's like, oh, girlfriends, let's sit down and talk about it. That's works really well for women, but not for men. I think if you want your man to talk to you, go do a sport with him, just distract him as you ask him these questions, and you hear things you've never heard before. So like softly.
That's honestly, it's amazing what you guys are saying. And one thing that was just coming to my head as you guys were talking was literally like, you know, as women, which was for us, it's like, do we provide a space for them to actually come and like express their emotions? It's like, are we able to do that? Because honestly, sometimes I feel like we're always ready to like shoot everything. Oh, this and this. But then it's like, do we give them the opportunity? I know some men, for example, my own, like no matter how much opportunity you give them, they're not really they're not really gonna express. But for me, one thing I've learned is I have to wait for him for his own time when he's ready. When he's ready and when they're ready to talk, then they will come and speak to you. But you can't come and start trying to get them to talk to you when they don't want to talk to you.
Creating a space, like you know, for example, you guys call us to talk, or to sit down and
You're
talk.
just like, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Why? Don't say I gotta talk.
Like for
Because now they start stressing
example,
out. But what are we talking about? Why is it like being so serious? Like you have to really chill about it.
Even if you call us to talk or like you create, the space really matters. Like you're talking about like, how do I get to him? It's not look in my eyes, I look in your eyes, and then we talk about it. It's not going to work.
That's how we are.
Yeah,
like,
We're gonna need a setting how we
talk about
stuff. And we were just cooking just now. You just talk everything. Your emotion doesn't really matter.
But you know, like Richard was saying, we all have that box. Every man have that box that they're in. In order for them to get out of that box and wanting to talk to you about something, that's very deep for a man. So my area is like, if he's able to come to you and share with you something, a man will never come full-hearted and share everything. He will test you first. He will come and be like, oh, he'll talk to you about something little. And then depending on how you take it, if you make him feel comfortable, or this person is someone I can talk to, next time he will share more. But as soon as he comes, if you give it back to him hot or whatever, and you make him feel a certain way, man, we go back in our shell and we're like, oh, you know, it's like someone like Harry said, the suicidal rate and all of that. Someone that's going through that might come to one of their friends or family or a girlfriend and share something little with them, but they won't catch on that. They will kind of brush it off, and then they go back in the shop, and that will happen later, and then they will remember, oh yeah, they came and talked to me about this. So if your partner or your brother or your friend comes and shares something little with you, put yourself in their shoes, give them that little comfort and make them feel like, yeah, it's alright to talk to me about this, or what do you want to do, and then like Richard said, find out what they like to do, and then when you, like our meaningful conversation we have a lot of the time, is either we're going for a drive or we're going somewhere, we're just having a random chat, and then out of nowhere, I'll open up about something. But when we're sitting there and she asks me, oh, what are you thinking today? What are you going through? What's been on your mind?
You never get anything out of it.
You won't, because I'm not in that box. You know, men have boxes, and when they take that, then it comes out. But if you ask them, their mind is searching for that box now. Oh, what is she thinking? What does she want to talk about? All this and that. So sometimes it's just about them actually coming out. So sometimes when they bring it out, regardless what it is, if it's your partner and you want to have meaningful conversation, if he brings out a little bit, makes them feel like, oh yeah, that's good, thanks for sharing that with me or something, and then maybe next time,
give them the space. To add to what Ben was saying, because I think it's really important that we actually create that safe space, because I think when that safe space is not there, like people, like life is hard and people have gone through a lot of different things, and when they feel like they don't have that space to be able to talk through things, they can internalize things, and it can actually lead, like one day you hear something and you're just like, how the heck did that person even get there, or why were they even there in the first place and I didn't even pick it up. I wanted to use this analogy, and Harriet, you could probably help me out, but they pretty much say that like a trauma is like a wound, like the Greek or the Latin word for trauma is wound, right? So that's pretty much like injury or damage to like a person's emotional state. So if you have a trauma, you pretty much have like an emotional wound. So if you leave a wound like untended to, you're a nurse, like what will happen? It gets infected. And then that's not good, because like that infection spreads throughout your body and then it messes you up. And I think that's why it's so important to provide people that space, whether it's like your partner, a sister, or friend, or whatever, especially if they've gone through hard stuff. You have to make sure that you provide them that space, so that even if they've gone through, whether it's like a traumatic event or like something that's actually like very deep and painful or sorrowful to them, they're able to be able to talk through it, because that's the kind of stuff, like, even though sometimes we don't make a big deal out of like emotional wounds, because I can't see it, they're hidden and they're invisible. It doesn't mean they're not a big deal, because one day you see a person behaving a certain way and you wonder, oh, how did they even get there? Honestly, you guys are speaking really, really good points, and you guys are giving really, really good points. And so I think we'll just move on to the next question. Otherwise we're going to be here for a while. There's something I wanted to add before, but now I've forgotten. There's just too many good points, to be honest. But anyways, like, another question for you guys is like, what do you guys think the best way to express your emotions are, just in general? Because obviously, like, you guys have all been talking about, for example, with men, you know, it's difficult for them to express it in a way that, like, difficult for men to express their emotions just openly, just anyhow, in just a regular sense, like compared to us women who just we can just be doing anything and we'll talk about anything whenever, wherever. So you guys can give your perspectives on like this question, I guess.
Get us ready to have a conversation that is serious, or is about emotions and problems or whatever. Don't just surprise us, you know, like what you're saying. Right now, me and you're cooking, I've got my cooking box out, I'm focusing on cooking. I don't want to hear anything besides cooking, because it's just going to throw me off guard and I'm not going to cook that food well, you know?
But the problem is, you know, the thing is about that, Richard, sorry to cut in, is even if we prepare you sometimes, like Bruce was saying before, you guys get like, why does it have to be all serious? You know what I mean?
Like, for example, right? If you want to engage me in a conversation, would you rather get me ready to have this conversation, or do you want to drag me into your world and say, sit down like this and we must have this conversation like this? Which one is going to work? You're trying to have a conversation with me. You're trying to have me to talk to you about something, you know? But if you're not going to come into my world and say, hey, how best can you communicate? You want to go for a drive? Let's go for a drive. If that works, like, I think you have to steady the person, steady whoever, your friends, your husband, your sister, steady how they communicate best and how they figure out the emotions, how it goes, you know? So if driving is best, hey, let's go for a drive, let's go for a road trip or something. And then, it's quality time. And then let them talk throughout. They're not looking in your face, they're not looking in your eyes when you're looking directly in their soul.
Questioning them, what are you afraid, what are we going to find in the soul? That's what we need to look for. What's in the soul?
Alright, continue.
So basically, with the boxes, if like you said, with the cooking one, if you got him into the mood of, oh, we're going to cook, and his mind is there now, oh, we're cooking. That's all he's thinking about. In order for him to go to another box, he has to pull that box away.
Prepare
And be like, okay,
Yeah.
the next box, she's preparing me for this, and then you'll start getting it out. But the way you guys think is different. The way we think is different.
Yeah.
Imagine we try to do the same thing to you guys. We have boxes. We take this box out. We only want to
It
talk
can't
about
happen.
that. It will not happen.
Yeah.
But we understand for you guys. If we start a conversation, it's going to go all over the place. So if we want to talk to you guys, we're already prepared for that now.
Yeah.
So,
to move on from one topic to another
it's
very
just-
quick.
It's just understanding
Yeah.
with that. But for me, I think the best way is a bit of both. You have to actually, communication is the big part, understanding communication, but a bit of both. Like, you know how I said I stay away and I don't want to talk about it until later?
Yeah.
For Harriet, sometimes it takes long and she's like, oh, why are you taking so long before coming back? You know? But at the same time, for her to just outburst everything out as soon as she feel it, sometimes it's not the right thing because you don't know what you're feeling in that moment. You don't know what you're saying in that moment.
Yeah.
You're coming out of anger or out of that emotion.
Yeah.
So you're not thinking.
Yeah.
So I think a bit of both kind of helps, explaining it the way that they will understand it a bit better. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to get the information across.
Yeah.
So understanding how can I get it across that they will understand. Pastor always talks about one have to be the water and one have to be the fire.
Yeah.
The other person, if you're the fire, I have to be the water in order to calm you down so we can have a proper conversation. When you're angry, it has nothing to do with intelligence. You're just bringing out your anger now. Your emotion.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the intelligence side.
Yeah.
it's just emotional
That's
side.
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like obviously, like when we come back to the topic, we're trying to be able to like express ourselves in a way that, like Ben was saying, everybody can understand and we are able to comprehend. Bess, did you have any comments you wanted to give?
I think-
how you think it's best to like express your emotion.
Yeah, I think from like a general sense, like some of the context of like one of my units that I'm studying,
Yeah.
but they say that like with emotions focused therapy,
Yeah.
you have to like teach people to understand their emotions.
Okay.
So you understand your emotions first of all by like being very aware, like taking the time. And I know that you guys just said that the men are like, yeah, we take our time, we actually think about like, what we're
What we're
feeling
gonna say.
and all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's great, that's awesome. But then after like the awareness of what you want to say,
Yeah.
finding a way to like let it out in a way that's healthy. So it's like expressing it in a way that's healthy. And sometimes like people that have like anger management issues and all that kind of stuff, they like advise them to do either like painting or like just do something that like, and I think that's why you guys play a lot of sports as well, because they're like, okay, that's emotional expression, I'm letting it all out, so that like I don't come and just do the worst at home or anything like that. So like awareness is really important, and then finding a way to express it in a way that's healthy for you. And if for the men, it's like, don't be coming to sit down and talk to me about it, like take me for a hike or let's go for a drive, or like finding a way to express it so that it's healthy. And then also like when it actually does come out, like finding a way to regulate it so that it's not like all over the place, especially for us women. That it's like, no, okay, relax first of all, like find a way to regulate. If you need to take a breath, go do some breathing, like breathe first, so that like not everything that you're pouring out. This is something I had to learn as well, and I'm still learning, because like I tell you, if I'm angry at Richard, he's probably gonna get it. Like I'm probably not. I'm not gonna be as emotionally intelligent as I want to be. Like I'm not gonna, everything that I know is just gonna go out the window. But that's dumb, because like, what's the point of like learning all these things and then not being able to apply it? Do you know what I mean? So like I think it's really important. Emotional awareness, like finding a way to express it and then finding a way to regulate it that is healthy. And sometimes it just means having that space so that like you can talk through the things and then be like, well, actually you did this and it made me feel like this and it's because of this. And it's like also for you men, providing us like women, because you already know how our brains work, we're just all over the place. So it's like, just give us time to let it all out, because it will make sense at the end. It might not make sense in the beginning, but we're gonna get to it. Like it might take a while, but we'll get there. And I think it's like, if you just give us that time and be like, okay, yeah, so really what's you might ask the question like, okay, so but what are you lacking, or what's like the unmet need, like what actually was happening that you're not happy about, and like giving us that space to just explore all that. it actually helps a lot, and it allows us to express in a very healthy way as well. So yeah,
isn't it crazy how it's so different? How we are like they are so different, and how they receive like how we express our emotions, and we are also so different. Like as you're talking to us, I was actually thinking about how literally we have to let it all out. Like as women, if we don't let it out,
we're not alright.
it's not like it's
not okay.
It's not okay, and we're not gonna be like we're literally not gonna be well, because it's like we have to let it out. It has to come out, you know.
There is, sorry, I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Probably this is going to be the most important thing, okay, that I'll say. Speak without destroying your spouse. Like, you let it out, but respectfully.
Yeah.
I think that's where emotional intelligence comes in. Yeah. And then whoever that's receiving, listen without being defensive. Because you just give back what you are given.
Yeah.
And you don't receive anything because the walls are up. She's speaking to me like that, or he's speaking to me like this, and therefore I'm going to be defensive. Nobody wins when we're being defensive. Nobody wins when we're destroying one another. It's like you chuck a bomb, it destroys everything, breaks the house, blah, blah, blah. Then you try to go lay in there and sleep nicely in there. It's not going to work. The roof is off, you know? And like, remember, after everything, leave your spouse with their dignity.
Yeah.
It's very important, because if you don't leave them with their dignity, trust me, it's going to be very hard for you to even conversate with that person next time, for the person to even receive you next time. You know, so yes, speak without destroying, listen without being defensive, and leave them with their dignity.
Yeah,
I think that
straight facts.
There's the only thing I can add before I finish is we all have to learn how to what you said, receive. It has nothing to do with the other spouse, but what they're giving to you. We have to learn how to receive it.
Yeah.
If it's from a woman to a man, man has to learn how to receive from a woman.
Yeah.
If it's from a man to a woman, woman has to learn how to receive what they're trying to give.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, you have to learn how to receive.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you learn how to receive, you know how to reply back.
Yeah.
But if you don't learn that, regardless what they're saying, you're just responding like Richard said, how you feel. But if you learn how to receive, you'll be like, okay, this is what they're saying.
Yeah.
I
feel like this is gonna go make the video go even longer, but one thing I wanted to add was I feel like for women sometimes, because you know how we're so emotional just in general, we can sometimes use our emotions to get what we want. So emotional manipulation is a word.
It's from above.
So emotional manipulation is
a thing,
you know, and I feel like sometimes with women, I know I may seem like I'm speaking against women, but I'm really just speaking from a place of
like, amen.
So I'm just gonna add this to experience. But listen, guys. But hold on.
Okay.
Let me just hold on. So basically, guys, I just want to add, because I've seen it around, and for me, I speak from every area. I don't speak from just one thing. I speak from whatever I see. And I know there are some women who they'll start crying, they'll start doing the most. They'll, you know, the way they even talk, sweet talk them. There's such a thing as women, like, you know, seducing, doing the most to get what they want. And you know, because we're more emotional. You know, someone told me one time, they said, you know, you can make a man do whatever you want them to do. It's a secret. It's a secret. This is why as a man you need to be alert. You need to be watchful. So let me go back to what I'm trying to say. I feel like as women we need to be like, okay, is this even right? And am I actually emotionally manipulating this person right now to get what I want? Because it's not fair. You know, sometimes some men aren't aware and it's not fair. Not only men, even women themselves, like they can manipulate you to try to do something for them. And it's like, if I want to do it, I'll do it, but you don't have to force me with your emotions. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add that in there before we go into the next part. Okay, so guys, let's just that's a long one. That's a whole other topic. Yeah. So let's just like we're just getting a little bit. This guy's here for the tea always. But anyway, so guys, last part of this video. I want to hear what you guys like. What are the verses that you guys usually would like kind of refer to when it comes to this topic of like emotions and how we express our emotions? My one is in Proverbs chapter 29 verse 11, and it says, fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm at the end. And this one has really guided me, because you know there are times when people are doing a lot. They're really doing a lot. And so for me, I have to learn, okay, just be quiet, chill, relax, say what you have to say, and then be quiet again. Because we're not trying to cause more drama, we're not trying to cause more problems. But for example, like doing the most with our emotions, yelling, screaming, as if that's gonna really solve the issue, you know, but really just trying to be like, okay, let's actually discuss this, let's talk about it. And yeah, let's bring calm at the end, because we don't want more drama. We want to solve the problem. Okay? Anyone else? True.
I think for mine it's just a bit personal. For me, is be quick to listen and slow to speak. So, because sometimes, like you said, if you're just wanting to speak without even listening, you'll just say anything. But if you listen properly and then you speak later, you kind of understand. And
Mine is Proverbs 15, 13 to 14. It says, a happy heart makes the face cheerful, but a heartache crushes the spirit. The discerning heart seeks knowledge. So, yeah, I like to, again, optimist. I like to have fun and just be happy, you know, because I understand when like I worry about things and when I'm angry, my spirit is not the sharpest and like it's not really discerning and I don't really understand a lot. So I like to, even if that happens, I like to seek understanding when I'm angry. Like you won't, if I'm really angry, you won't see me speaking at all. It will just be silent until something happens, then I'll come. But the rest is just fluff. I like to talk and gas nice stuff. So,
Richard, I wanted to just add.
Did you say gaslight?
Shut up.
Did you say gaslight?
No, just be annoying pretty much. That's what it's saying. Let me just.
Is that a West African thing? Or the Liberian thing?
why are you trying to poke me in the eye?
Anyway,
It's not the way you wave your finger like this.
Oh,
Look
sorry,
at the eye.
before I say my verse, Richard,
man.
I just want to say that for men, like what you just said, I'm not even coming at you or anything, so don't come back at me. But like, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. Like, it's okay not to have it all right, and everything be happy all the time. It's like for small pockets or small moments, like just
break down,
let it be yuck, let it be not alright, because then you can work through all that. Because I think sometimes we can be like, no, we have to be okay, we have to fix everything, but it's like, no, you don't have to.
That's
And
how
to
we
back that up, no, but to back that up, to back what it is saying, there's a time to cry,
Yes.
there's a time. So you have to sometimes allow it to really just let it express it, get it all out. You don't have to do it in front of people.
I think that happens.
Let it out.
It happens, but it doesn't just happen frequently in front of our wives. Like for example, I cry a lot.
Personal crying.
Like I cry a lot with God. Like I make sure that place is a place of total vulnerability. Like you see snot, you see all like it's there. God knows.
Well, got that
So like, but the reason I think let's try to build that bridge with our spouse stuff, you know. So I think instead of just God, also confining your spouse.
I cried one time with Harry, and then straight away she goes out there telling people, you cry too. You cry
When did I say that? When did I say
So I think I'm gonna cry again.
When did I say that? When did I say that?
There's a few times.
As small as that is, that causes a big.
I'm not gonna open up here.
That causes a
If
very.
I say something to you,
And then it takes like 1 year, 2 years before that
I
happens.
actually tried to come back again, but I actually didn't know that I did that.
I'll just give you an example. If I do something, if I tell you something, and then we go out there and you're talking to your girl and they come up and you're like, oh, Ben does it too. Straight away, I'm not going to tell you.
Forget about it. Me and Ben actually have the same verse, which was from James chapter 1, verse 19. And it says, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. And I think for me, it was more the angry part because... so just at the end of the day, just really taking the time to listen and spend more time explaining what's underneath rather than just all the anger and everything that's coming out on top. Underneath the anger is like all these other things that, actually I just feel like, you disrespected me, or I feel like, you didn't come through from, or you don't care, or whatever, or you didn't act right in this situation. It's like, okay. And then I think there's like I just wanted to add was like the listening part. Just listen to what the person is saying, listen to respond like don't listen to answer back and say, okay, all right, anyways, my turn then, let me talk. It's like actually take the time to actively listen. What is this person saying? But yeah, so that's my part. Yeah, definitely. So guys, this has been such a beautiful video. I've loved listening to all of you guys and what you have to say. It's now the end of the video, and I think we want to just conclude it here and say thank you all for watching. I hope you guys gained something new. I hope you learned something new, and yeah, share it with somebody that you think might need it, and like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you guys think of the video as well. I just want to thank everyone that has contributed. Thank you all for your time and your wisdom, words of wisdom. Very, very beautiful video. Thank you all so much. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. Follow me, Start by Flowmore.
And guys, make sure you go
Start by
follow the Heart to Heart with Ariel on Instagram.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, Richard actually has a page, Starred by Flomo. Makes amazing suits, as you can see.
He dresses you as well. It's not only making suit.
Put this one together himself.
I can give you some summer outfits.
Check him out. Check him out, guys. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.
And subscribe and like.
Yeah.
If you're broke, don't call him.
Then
Here we go, problem.